Hey VIPs, thought I would go ahead and put together a how-to video to go alongside that newsletter that you got this month. Is it not amazing? If somehow you've stumbled upon this video and aren't receiving my newsletters, then you should go ahead and subscribe. There's a link down there in the description. Go ahead and get your information input in there. Other than that, if you're still struggling to get your brows just right, I have put together my brow routine for you from start to finish. I do tint my brows because getting a little older and I've got some grays in there. So I showed you how to tint your brows at home. I used to go out and spend, 40, 50, sometimes $60 having someone, give me the perfect shape and then put together, my tint and yada, yada, yada. It's not necessary. You can do this at home. Quick, easy, and pretty cheap. So hang with me and maybe I'll teach you a little something, something. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is to take a spoolie and brush my eyebrows down before I start to map out the points of where my brows are going to go. This helps me to kind of see where my brows are. They're a little bit sparse, and so it helps me to see like where I need to fill in and to start to map out the perfect shape. Thing I like to do is to go ahead and then brush my eyebrows back up, kind of straight up, not necessarily in place. Now I'm going to go ahead and map out the line under my eyebrows, and that's what kind of lets you see top and bottom lines where your brows belong. Next, what I do is I brush my brows back down and take a Q-tip and apply some petroleum jelly around that outline of my eyebrows. It's such a headache trying to get dye off of your skin, so it's really worth it to take that extra minute in the beginning and just protect your skin and put some petroleum on it. It'll prevent the bleeding from the dye. Now I'm just taking an old makeup brush and smoothing out that petroleum jelly that I placed just to make sure that my hairs are out of the way. You can get any root touch-up kit from your neighborhood pharmacy. I'm using Clairol. What you want to do is use equal parts of step 1 and step 2. You can actually use the same root touch-up kit multiple times. In fact, this is probably my 5th or 6th time using this same kit because you don't have to mix it all. You're not doing your whole head, just your eyebrows. So you want to make sure you mix it up really well in order to be able to get the best coverage and the best mix of that color. And then I take an old eye makeup brush and just go ahead and apply it. I do the ends first because the ends are where my grays are, and so I want those to sit with the product on them the longest so that it'll take better. And then once you've applied it, you just hang out and wait. 7 to 10 minutes is what the box says. I kind of do 10 just because, I want to make sure that I get enough depth of color on my eyebrows. Don't worry if you color outside the lines by mistake. All you gotta do is take that old makeup brush with some petroleum jelly and just go ahead and carve the line back out, no problem. While you continue to wait, you can entertain yourself in the mirror like I did. Now take a cotton pad and carefully remove the excess dye from your eyebrow. This would be a terrible time to mistakenly put that dye somewhere else on your face. I used a mild shampoo and then rinsed it off, and now I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol to go ahead and remove some of the excess dye from my skin. The reason for that petroleum jelly was so that when I take the rubbing alcohol now, it comes off more easily. Now that my brows are dark enough to see, it's time to tweeze. And so the beauty of having carved out that perfect line beforehand is that now anything that doesn't fall in the line as far as hairs, those get plucked. And remember when we started, the eyebrows were brushed down. Make sure that you brush them back up and tweeze underneath. Same concept, whatever's not in the lines, pluck it. Now we are going to go ahead and start to brush our brows into place where they would be. And you're going to take a little bit of petroleum jelly and go ahead and put that on your brows to lay them down. And I do this just to make sure I didn't miss any rogue hairs or extra dye. Now I'm going to take my favorite eyebrow pencil in the world, my Artistry Signature Color eyebrow pencil, automatic eyebrow pencil in soft black, and mark out those lines one more time. You need to mark the start of your brow from that divot in your nose going straight up, the middle of your brow, the highest point, at a 45-degree angle from the outside of your nose, and then oopsie, then you're going to mark the end of your brow. So you're going to take your pencil, the outside of your nose, you want to line it up with the end of your eye and put it on your brow. That is where the end of your eyebrow goes. And then just connect the dots. Now my eyebrows on the outside of this eye are very, very sparse, so I'm filling those in with the pencil a little bit. And now I'm taking my Artistry Studio Parisian Style Edition 2-in-1 Brow Shaper, which kind of acts like a balm as well, to go ahead and finish filling in. The biggest tip I can give you here is to not worry about being too precise with your lines. As long as you make sure that you've filled in all the areas that need filling in. We're going to come through with my Artistry Exact Fit 24-Hour Concealer in the Brightener color, and really just make the lines perfect. So I'm using a concealer brush. All of my brushes are Artistry brand. That's just what I love, and they're super easy to use. So we're going to use that concealer and carve out the lines underneath and over the top. That's why we marked out those spots and connected the dots. Now we're going to follow that line all the way around, top and bottom. Now, I don't always do this next step, but I will admit that it makes it super easy to do your eye makeup when you do this. So I'm going to take the peach color out of my Artistry Studio Tokyo Edition Correct and Perfect Compact, and I'm going to color over these brightener lines. That way I can bring it closer to a color that matches my skin. As well, start to go ahead and dissipate these bright lines, sharp, harsh lines here. You don't have to do that. You can just take a sponge like I'm doing after that, and start blotting it out. But I do it underneath so that I can go ahead and lay down. I use it almost as a primer for my eyelids before my eyeshadow. Now I'm pretty much done here. All I'm gonna do, because I just did this for the sake of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and put some blush and some loose powder on, because I'm just going to the grocery store, so the rest of my face doesn't matter a ton. But yeah, for the most part, I'm good. Obviously, you know, I will use my loose powder over those harsh lines on my forehead, over the brow, to go ahead and smooth it out, make it look, you know, more like real skin. These Artistry Studio Shanghai Soft and Silky Pop Trios, eye and cheek pop trios, do make putting together a look very quickly and easily super simple. So I highly recommend those as well. Here I go, taking my Artistry Signature Color loose powder over my whole face. If you notice, I pay a little bit of close attention over the brows to go ahead and make sure that they're not, you know, looking crazy out here in the world. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something. Until next time, go live freely.